This is A's Cast Live, your comprehensive look at the Athletics.
Leaping at the wall, it's gone! A towering drive into center field by Rooker.
And 29 other MLB clubs.
A judgy blast. All rise. Here comes the judge.
Swung on, hit high, hit deep to right, away back into the second deck.
Bobby Witt Jr. becomes the first shortstop in Major League history to have two 30-30 seasons.
Shohei Ohtani starts the 50-50 club.
Join us as we take you inside the baseball universe, from humidors to walk-off dingers to Hall of Fame talk. We have you covered. Spend your afternoon with us, only on A's Cast Live. Here's Chris Townsend.
Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to A's Cast Live. After an unbelievable day down in the desert, the Athletics are starting a brutal road trip where they're going to be taking on the Detroit Tigers, who are trying to go for their 50th win tonight. Tarek Skubal on the mound. They've only gotten to 50 wins this fast. What was it, 84? And they won the World Series. I actually went to that World Series. I was a little kid. It was the Padres against the Tigers, and the Tigers they got off to that historic start of 35-5, I believe. It was one of the great starts in the history of baseball. And then 2006, they'd take down the Athletics in the postseason. They'd eventually go on to the World Series, and they would lose. But when they get to 50 this fast, twice in what we call the modern era, they take it to the house to the World Series. So it's going to be interesting if the A's can keep the Tigers from winning number 50 today. Also, Tarek Skubal trying to get his career 50th win. I know wins don't matter to you, but to pitchers, they still care. So his 50th win is going to hopefully be a big deal for him. But once again, hopefully it's not today, because we actually got some guys that got some numbers against Tarek Skubal. One of them is Brent Rooker, and we'll highlight all of that today. And this road trip, it's 3 in Detroit, 3 in New York. Is it 4 or 3 in Tampa?
I believe it's 3 in Tampa.
And then 3 in Tampa. I had them look up the combined records. Our boy Dan, who helps us here at NBC. By the way, we're back from Las Vegas. We're back in San Francisco. Is it amazing? We went from Vegas was not hot yesterday. I mean, it was hot on the green carpet in a suit, but overall for like a regular day, it was like 80-something degrees, and I think a high was like 91, right? Typical summer weather. A lot of places. Like I flew back to Sacramento last night. Got to Sacramento yesterday. It was like 78 degrees. Summer weather. Drive into San Francisco today. Cold. Everybody's in jackets and sweatshirts on the street. I was like, oh my God, I couldn't believe it. Welcome back to San Francisco.
Yeah, like when I flew
no
back,
summer whatsoever.
Well, see, I almost said to you I would have switched you yesterday from where we were positioned in the. They literally had me. Some of the pictures people got were pretty good, but where I was positioned inside the tent to run the broadcast, the AC vent was on me the whole time. So literally, when I was trying to type in like people's names, I couldn't. Yeah. My hands were freezing because I was.
Do we have a picture of your hair? There's like a legendary picture. You look like you've just got out of a 4-week bender, drinking and gambling in Vegas. The way your hair looked, it was unbelievable. But the combined record for Detroit, New York, and Tampa right now, 137 and 98. So you're taking on first place, and second place, because the Rays are in second place only to the Yankees. And once again, one of my hot takes, the Rays will chase down the New York Yankees and win the AL East. But we got to start with yesterday. Yesterday, if you've been through it, you've been around it. It's been years that we've talked about it. We don't need to rehash all the history of relocation, whether it's Fremont, San Jose, still looking, parallel pass, Las Vegas. Yesterday, the groundbreaking was awesome. It was incredible. Just to be a part of it and to see it go down, it was basically flawless. To see the power brokers in the room, just not from a baseball standpoint, but from a state standpoint, where you had some pretty big power people from the state of Nevada there, let alone the governor, mayor, Some people that I got to meet yesterday. You're talking about the biggest, heaviest hitters that run these multi-billion-dollar companies in Las Vegas. As we got to Mr. Hornbuckle, we got to interview the head of MGM Properties, which MGM basically owns everything. You know, the most amazing thing that I saw on this trip, and if you go into MGM, and we were staying there, is they have these dealers that are enclosed in this glass. It's in the middle of the floor.
Mm-hmm. I saw that too.
And it's in this glass. They're in this glass, like they're walled off, almost like zoo animals. And they're looking into cameras and they're playing game. They're doing whatever the game was. It blackjack. It was blackjack. What else do they have going on? They had multiple games going on. And I'm looking at them going, what are they doing? Right? Pai Gow poker. They had, so they're in the middle of the casino and they're all sealed into this glass room, but you can watch them and there's nobody around them but a camera. And then we found out what exactly is going on. People are gambling all around the world 24/7. They've got people there. They've got these, they've got these dealers doing these different, one was even Family Feud, for God's sakes. And they're actually playing games 24/7 with people all around the world. And they make more money off of this room where these dealers are sealed in this glass, right? So they can't hear. Like the one guy took a picture of, and he actually looked at me and went like this, but they're focused on the cameras. They make more money off this sealed room than they do actually in that one casino, MGM, which is a monster, one of the biggest casinos in Vegas. They make, because they have people around the world gambling 24/7 out of that site in the middle of the MGM. I was like, wow, that is impressive. But everything about the groundbreaking, I had a wonderful time. It was an honor to be there. And just knowing like where the future of our ball club is going to be, it's going to be the best day. I get it. I mean, it's good. Fenway will always be my favorite. Wrigley Field, historic. We've got, I would say, Camden Yards of the new retro ballpark, trying to go back to the old school. Camden Yards will be the first. But, I mean, ballparks that are great. San Francisco here is great down the street from where we are. Seattle is one of my favorites. I mean, Seattle, I always want to go Safeco.
T-Mobile.
T-Mobile.
It is a great park.
Minnesota, Target Field's beautiful. But when this ballpark is built on the Las Vegas Strip, nothing is going to compare. And it is going to be, as you talk to people, they cannot wait. I mean, guys that I know around the country, they like, oh, when my team goes there, I can't wait to go there. Vegas is a destination spot, and that is the busiest corner in the United States of America. They have over 45 million people a year. You know, when people want to talk about market size, they have over 45 million people a year going to Las Vegas. It is, and how many people are going to come to games? It's going to be spectacular. It's going to be spectacular. And to be a part of it yesterday, the governor was great. The politicians who all stood up and talked, we're going to have some of it for you today. You could tell they're sharp, quick-witted, great public speakers. You could see why they've been voted into office. To see the commissioner of baseball wants it. Nevada wants it. The Fisher family wants it. It's going to get done. And just talking to everybody yesterday, it was like a wow event that we have waited for. And when you see all the power brokers there and how bad they want it, I can't wait for 2028. Hell, I haven't been home in 10 days. I flew back to Sacramento, stayed in Sacramento last night, and drove down to San Francisco today. I mean, this has been a wild ride. And we did an unbelievable job. Yourself, the Karate Kid Ray, our boss Delaire did a great job bringing it to you yesterday on A's Cast.
Well, we talked about it here. I was able to get it. Here's the photo. That's the legendary photo you were talking about. That's right below me was where the air conditioning vent was. So Amelia Schimmel got the photo of me, and that's kind of what happened. So, but yeah, it was great being there yesterday. My wife was in town with us, not at the groundbreaking event, but she was in Vegas. She actually won some money, so good. We came out ahead.
A good producer, remember, always brings it back to himself because everybody cares that your wife was there and she won money.
Well,
good for you.
It was a big deal. She went down for the groundbreaking. She wanted to be there to see how everyone's got to meet everyone, and she hasn't met. But yeah,
while she was at the pool.
I don't think she went to the pool.
They got like 4 pools at MGM.
She went shopping and did all that stuff. But no, it was cool being a part of the red carpet where you were interviewing Bill Hornbuckle and Mark Bedane, the president of the Athletics.
That was cool, because I worked for Bedane with the Raiders, and Bedane is you want to talk about Haas School of Business from Cal, you want to talk about a sharp guy, and it is very obvious that for a lot of the power brokers in Las Vegas, when Mark Bedane was brought on board, it changed everything. It's, it is what it is. Like building facilities anywhere, it's really, really hard. And it's really, really hard in California. We all understand that. If you've lived in California, you understand. Nevada's a little bit different, but Nevada still, and in the interview, we talk about it with Mark Bedane, is the power brokers, it's still a small community in Las Vegas. And you got to convince them, but once you convince them, they're all going to be in. Like when we were talking with the MGM people, I don't know when it will be announced, and I don't want to put the cart before the horse. I'm not announcing anything, but yes, there will be MGM, BetMGM, and the A's. There's stuff that's going to be coming, and you got a few years to announce all this stuff. But we got to know and got to learn a lot about MGM and what's going to be the future. And MGM owns the 3 properties that are going to be neighbors to the ballpark. And when you talk to the CEO, and especially off the air, how fired up they are about this process. When MGM's fired up about something, they're the big swing and what in Las Vegas. So, and they all say once Mark Bedane got on the project, it made everybody go, yep, this is for sure going to work. Shows you how big Mark Bedane has established himself. He's the guy that built Allegiant Stadium. And when you talk to people down there about Allegiant Stadium, it's just not the NFL, which is a huge deal. The NFL is the biggest part of the entertainment business in the United States of America. The NFL is king. And when you bring the Super Bowl, you first brought the NFL draft, and then you build a stadium like that. And then here comes Beyonce, and here comes Taylor Swift, and here comes all these events, and here comes WrestleMania. Like we've seen something similar with Levi Stadium, and we both live in the South Bay, so we've seen what it does for the economy and the economic growth when you bring the Super Bowl and the national championship game, and Beyonce and Taylor Swift and Bruno Mars, and everybody's performed there, the country guys and everybody, and it sells out the stadium, and it's big, right? Well, what you've seen at Levi Stadium is just small because Allegiant Stadium, for what we have found out, is the highest grossing stadium in the world. So Vegas gets it, right? They understand. They're about building. They're about business. They're about bringing people to town. That's what flows the economy in Las Vegas and Nevada. They're all about business and bringing people in. That's their structure. So Mark Bedane got that building built, with Mark Davis and the Raiders. But Mark Bedane is the guy that everybody looked at. So when Mark Bedane said, yep, I'm joining the A's, I'm going to be a president, it opened everybody's eyes down there. And we got a chance to talk to the president of the A's while we were on the green carpet yesterday, the great Mark Bedane.
He had a great suit on, by the way. Even the governor,
green suit.
Even the governor shouted him out during the groundbreaking ceremony by the suit. But yeah, it was. Speaking of just everything goes on at Allegiant, WWE liked it so much with WrestleMania here this past year. They're going back again next year.
Of course.
So they're going for 2 years in a row. And now WWE, money-making brand, they like to go everywhere. They're going back to Vegas for a second year. They never do that with WrestleMania.
Does everybody see how I get him fired up into the show? I bring wrestling, and all of a sudden now he's got points and topics, and now he's interested. Think about it. They got all the hotels. They got all the structure. That's why some people have hinted, and they'll never do this, but they've hinted why don't you just have the Super Bowl there every year?
Oh, wow.
Now they like to move it around. You want to have it in New Orleans, and you're going to have it in Florida. And Jerry, as long as Jerry Jones is alive, it's still going to show up to Texas. And then you're going to have it in Los Angeles because that's where you have all – NFL has all their stuff in L.A., so it's going to be at SoFi Stadium.
Isn't it Levi's this next Super Bowl?
Levi's getting their second.
So it's in the South Bay for us again.
And everybody – if you got a new stadium, even Minnesota got a Super Bowl, right? But that's,
Thank God it's enclosed.
They're going to get back into that rotation, right? You're going to, they want to have it in South Florida. You want to have it in Tampa. Trying to think. Atlanta's going to get it. I don't think New York ever gets in, but it doesn't matter. It's like, but that's, Vegas has everything. And when you're standing on the plot, like where home plate is going to be, and you're looking up in center field, you're going to look out and you're going to see part of the MGM and you're going to see all of New York. And looking at where we're going to do our show, it's going to be incredible. It's going to be incredible.
Just seeing some of the power hitters that were there just from our organization alone. I mean, Mark Kotze was there, David Forrest, Billy Owens. He was everywhere yesterday.
Billy O, yeah. We're taking pictures of Billy O and John Fisher.
Everyone who's a who's who in the organization was down there. And it was good to see everyone, people you don't get to see all the time because not everyone's in SAC all the time. So it was good to see everyone because, they go back between SAC and Vegas. So it was good to see everyone. And then I've heard feedback, not just from the great David Feldman, but other people saying that their favorite interview from the green carpet was Freddie Wisnicki, the Iron Workers Local 33 rep that was there.
Yeah,
people absolutely loved him. Now I loved him selfishly because he mentioned Pittsburgh in there, and that's where the Iron Workers started. But he was a good interview. He was fired up. He was energetic, and you guys had a good conversation. I'm glad to hear that people weren't tuning in just to see, nothing against Dave Stewart. People want to see Dave Stewart, but to see guys like Freddie Wisnicki, that was cool to see us get a chance to talk to the people who are helping build the ballpark. In Las Vegas.
Plan. I mean, the plans are underway, right? And we're going to slowly watch it grow. And it's going to be awesome to see. I cannot wait. And you and I are going to start spending more time in Vegas, and more things are going to be happening in Las Vegas. Of course, we'll still be in Sacramento. We'll be here. I don't think people care that we're here in San Francisco at the NBC studios, but we're going to start being in Vegas a lot more, and it's going to be a wild ride. It's been a wild ride. It's been an emotional, wild ride. We have never strayed from that. We've never told people to stray from that. Like, we get it. It's hard for some of our audience. It's really, really hard for some of our audience. We understand that. We have to move on. I can't, I don't have to point to you or go to the Brad Pitt. It's adapt or die from Money Mall. You adapt or you die. I'm not going to give you enough time to do it, but that's just what it is. And it's an exciting time for us because the possibilities of what we're going to see. I met the mayor, the former mayor yesterday of God, now it just slipped my mind. Starts the other town.
Henderson?
Summerlin. Henderson.
Okay, I'm just throwing out the names. The city's by there.
I met the former mayor of Henderson, and we was Sandy Dean. Sandy Dean watches this show, the right-hand man of John Fisher, Sandy Dean, the great Sandy Dean, who had probably the best run of a president of all time. Nothing happened bad on his watch. He'll go down as the one president in professional sports history that really nothing happened while he was the president for like a month. It was flawless. Nobody left. Nothing happened. There was no scam. There was nothing. Every president in sports has to deal with something, right? Not Sandy Dean. While he was in charge, it was the most tight-run ship you've ever seen. But anyway, Sandy and I were talking to the former mayor of Henderson. She was explaining to us how they got the Raider deal done for the whole Raider offices, practice facility, the stuff for the Aces and the WNBA. You know how? Because they went to the Raiders and said, oh, we'll make it happen. Like that. Business done like that. Build it, bring people, tax, jobs. Henderson, Nevada, they're not going to get Allegiant Stadium, but they got the second best. And they knew, and it was like they showed up, handshakes, let's do this thing, and they made it happen. It is amazing to me how business is done in different states. It's just, wow, how fast it is. Let's go. So Henderson meeting the former mayor yesterday and her explaining just the whole process, which happened real fast. And like Sandy Dean, who's been doing stuff, had to do stuff here in the Bay Area. He's done business here in the Bay Area. Now he's doing it down in Nevada and Southern Nevada. It's like, and listening to that conversation was like, wow, they are in to do business. They're ready to make stuff happen.
Yeah. Henderson's kind of my geography of knowing how many, the demographics of the Las Vegas area aren't as great as some, but I know that Henderson and Summerlin are growing as much as Las Vegas. And Henderson also has the Silver Knights, the Las Vegas Golden Knights minor league affiliate that's there too. So the Henderson's growing, and then Summerlin obviously has the Aviators where we've seen, and I believe the Golden Knights practice facility is right next door to Las Vegas Ballpark. So that whole area down there is growing. There's people moving to Las Vegas because, unfortunately, people know it's a lot cheaper to live there than it is in the Bay Area in California. So people are leaving to go there and live in Vegas, and that's something we're going to be doing in 3 years, and we have to get ready for. So I'm looking forward to it. Yesterday was a really good day.
All right, what do we got on the show today?
Martín Gallegos is going to be joining us. He was in Vegas.
He was there yesterday. He hasn't been around for the total ride, but he's been around for a lot of it, and that's why we want to bring him on today. There was other people we were looking at, but we interviewed people yesterday. We're like, we didn't get a chance to talk to Martín, and he's the one guy that's covering this on a day-to-day basis. He's, sports people, and I learned this very early because my early days working in the Bay Area was in the kind of 96, 97 range at KMBR when stuff was going down with the Giants, right? And I got to see a little bit. I was young, didn't really know, but I got to see how things went down with Ballpark and the Giants. And it was really interesting. And it's over the years to see how Levi Stadium or the Chase Center and now this stadium or Allegiant Stadium, because I worked for the Raiders, got to live through that, and now to live through what is happening with us in Las Vegas. It's interesting. And sports people are not really equipped to deal with this. Sports people usually are putting their sails up and they're looking for the wind and what do the fans want to hear, right? And because sports people are not business people. They're not used to covering business. They're used to covering athletes. They're used to going into locker rooms and clubhouses and asking, how'd you feel today?
Felt
right?
great.
Yeah, that's what they do, right? And when you get into topics of politics, because a lot of this is politics, we in sports, and we have learned that whenever sports people talk politics, what's the first reaction from the fan base?
They don't like it.
Stick to sports, right? So they don't like it when you cover politics. So it's really tough for sports people because when sports people start talking about the politics, you get the what?
Stick to sports people?
Stick to sports. So, but the reality is, as we saw yesterday at the groundbreaking, we saw the politicians there. They're no matter how you want to slice this thing, no matter how you want to dissect this thing, no matter how much you want to think and this is what happened and this is why teams move and why teams leave and blah, 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 blah. If the politicos are not all in, nothing will get done. They have to be all in. If you go to towns and having traveled with teams, when you go to like, say, Philadelphia, and you go to Philadelphia and there's the baseball stadium and right across the street is the football stadium and right across the street from that is the arena. And then there's Philadelphia Live. So you've got Phillies, Eagles, Sixers, Flyers, Philly Live, all there. Boom. They did it. Now, the money and how they did, that all doesn't work unless all the right people are in place. Ballpark, now Oracle Park, not SBC Global, AT&T. Am I missing any other names that the Giants Stadium has been?
No, just those three, right? Or SBC, Oracle, AT&T, yeah.
Dude, I did the preseason games at Pac-Bell. The first ever game at Pac-Bell Park between two Major League Baseball teams was a preseason game between the Brewers and the Giants, and then the second one was the Yankees and the Giants. Larry Krueger and I did the pregame show for that, and then I was on the morning show with Gary Radnich, opening day, Giants Dodgers. I was the first guy ever to come out of that stadium. I always opened the show, and then Gary would come in after me. And I opened that when there was nobody there. It was pitch dark. It was opening day, and I was there. A lot of you forget that. That was years ago in my career. But I opened what you know as Oracle Park now. I was the first before John Miller, Kruk and Kipe, on day one, opening day, the real game. I opened that morning show with Gary Radnich. I understand Willie Brown, what Willie Brown did, Willie Brown made this stadium down the street happen because Willie Brown had all the juice. He had the juice at the state level. He had the juice at the city level. He controlled City Hall. He had the juice on the port. He had Save the Bay in his pocket. He ran everything. Willie Brown was a baller. I don't know what your politics are, whether you like Willie Brown or not. I live in San Jose. I've lived in San Jose for, is it 30 years now? Whatever.
Almost. He said, oh, no, you've been there longer because you went to college there.
Yeah. Since
so you're at 30-something years. 33?
So I've lived in this. So I didn't have a vote in the mayor of San Francisco. So I don't know what your politics are, and everybody's freaked out about politics these days, but Willie Brown made that happen. It cost the Giants and gave them tax breaks, and the land cost nothing. I mean, Willie Brown made that happen. So when you look at why these things get built, no matter where the money's coming from, the politicos all have to be involved. The power brokers have to be involved, and they have to back it. And you saw that yesterday when you saw all the different people in that room from the state of Nevada. The governor got up there. You had multiple people got up there. Steve Hill, who the Las Vegas Convention Authority, you saw him get up there.
That's friend of the program.
Oh, friend of the program. I mean, the guy's budget every year to promote Las Vegas is $500 million. When all the power brokers get up there and say, we want this, it shows you how things get done. And they've wanted sports in Las Vegas for the longest time. People said years ago they'll never have professional sports in Vegas because of gambling. How did that work out?
It didn't work out. That's the thing. Or it has worked out. Sorry. That's what I meant.
Let's pause for station identification right here on A's Cast. And you know what I thought about yesterday? Flew back to Sacramento. My car was there, and I stayed in Sacramento last night. And I went to the gym, and they're still doing all the stuff from the NBA Finals.
Shout out to Oklahoma City Thunder.
Where did they come from?
Seattle. Not to go Belichick and go Seattle.
But that goes back to like when we were in Nashville, and I made that point to you and Delaire when we were discussing all this. And I said, hey, today we're going to go to the Titans game. And I said this with Mick Akers yesterday. We went to a Titans game, and they were playing the Colts. Remember that couple vans pulled up, and all the Colts fans got out, and you two were boozing, and I'm making the observation as you guys are listening to country music before the game on Broadway. Remember that? They had bands I'm
embarrassed.
Nashville's. Shout out to Darren Arbett, our old buddy Darren Arbett, the head coach of the SaberCats, who's now head coach of the Nashville Cats. They're playing for the title in Albany coming up this weekend. And I remember I made that point. I said, hey, where are these two teams from?
Baltimore and
Houston Oilers and the Baltimore Colts are playing in Nashville now as the Tennessee Titans and the Indianapolis Colts. Think about that. Oklahoma City Thunder was who?
Seattle.
It's crazy how life changes. Life doesn't stop and things change, man. It is crazy. All right, coming up now, who do we got? Martín Gallegos from MLB.com. We'll talk about the historic groundbreaking in Las Vegas next, right here on A's Cast Live.
When it comes to knocking it out of the park, nobody beats Folsom Lake Ford. Folsom Lake Ford is a 7-time Triple Crown Award winner, Ford Motor Company's highest honor for being the best in customer satisfaction in sales, service, and finance. Step up to the plate for our biggest selection of new Ford models, including the legendary F-150, on sale now. Shop Folsom Lake Ford, your truck headquarters in the Folsom Auto Mall, FolsomLakeFord.com.
That ball is out of here.
Become an A's insider today. Visit athletics.com/newsletter and sign up to receive the latest team highlights, up-to-date news, features, and more, all delivered free to your inbox. That's athletics.com/newsletter.
A's first baseman Tyler Soderstrom was on A's Cast Live with Chris Townsend and discussed his ability to play multiple positions if asked to.
Oh, yeah, 100%. I mean, I feel like with anything, you got to go out and get the reps and kind of learn the position. Every position has kind of a learning step. But yeah, I mean, I definitely have the athleticism. I feel like to play anywhere on the field. I mean, I feel like shortstop in the bigs would be a little bit of a stretch, but maybe. I mean, I could.
You can play third.
Could
you play third base?
Yeah, I mean, I could play third, play first, corner, outfield spot. I mean, I would feel really comfortable in any of those situations. I mean, obviously, you'd have to put some time in and kind of, like I said, learn the position and what it entails. But yeah, I mean, I feel like my athleticism really carry me anywhere I need to go.
You can watch the full interview at youtube.com/athletics or listen at athletics.com/AceCast. For just $25, fans can sit in the general admission outfield grass for all regular season home games. Tickets for that day's game will open up daily at 9 a.m. for purchase at athletics.com/lawn. Sign up to receive A's alerts to receive a text the first morning of each home series as a reminder. For more information, visit athletics.com/lawn.
The A's YouTube page is your go-to destination for A's video content. Get access to great highlights, exclusive behind-the-scenes content, classic games, A's Cast Live, and more. Visit youtube.com/athletics. Become an A's insider today. Visit athletics.com/newsletter and sign up to receive the latest team highlights, up-to-date news, features, and more, all delivered free to your inbox. That's athletics.com/newsletter.
A's Cast Live continues from NBC Sports. Here's Chris Townsend.
Martín Gallegos from MLB.com is with us here on A's Cast. Martín, appreciate you stopping by. What a day yesterday. What your feelings on just being there, covering it, and what you thought about the groundbreaking?
Yeah. What's up, Towny? Obviously a big day. We all know Las Vegas does things big when they do these types of events, and it obviously felt like a big event from, all the dignitaries that were there. I mean, so many important people in the Nevada area, not just Las Vegas, but all of Nevada were there. And to be there for what kind of felt like the next big step towards the next chapter of A's baseball, it certainly was, an event with a lot of magnitude surrounding it. So it felt like, obviously opening day will be the official, next step of A's baseball or next chapter, but it certainly felt like the final, I guess you could say the step before that, with the groundbreaking and seeing, the movement that's been going on that site already with the building that's about to take place there.
You just mentioned it, and that was the number one thing that hit me also. When you look at from the state level, usually at these type of events, you're going to get everybody in the local community. But the amount of presence from the state level, not only in baseball where the commissioner of baseball came in, but when you've got the governor, everybody around him, all the power brokers from all the different casinos, Bill Hornbuckle, who is a major player down there. We had him on the program, who runs MGM Properties. Just kind of go back over that, how the politicos just from all over the state, the magnitude of everybody that was there was just, it hits you right in the face of how big this is.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you walk in, and I think the first two rows of seats were filled with, whether it was the governor, the mayor, like you mentioned, Bill Hornbuckle, all the power players that are involved in this. And, it seems like everybody's on a united front, and that's kind of what's necessary to get something like this done. You need all the important people to be on the same page, everybody to be in agreement. And obviously it's a long process. I mean, this hasn't happened overnight. I mean, we know how long it's taken to get to this point. And now it seems like they're obviously past the finish line. Now they're actually starting to build the thing. So it's been a long time coming. And I think just from everyone that's involved, a celebration is what it was, really, of, finally kind of dotting the I's, crossing the T's, and kind of being able to look forward to what's going to be taking place on the Las Vegas Strip in a few years.
How interesting was it to you to see everybody who said, yep, let's do it, let's get it done, let's go? Because that's not something that we've been used to through this process.
Yeah, it's hard to get anything like this built. You have to go through a lot of different avenues, and I think, I wasn't, privy to all the conversations, but I'm sure there was a lot of back and forth before we got to this point. But I think the one thing that everybody kind of came into an agreement was what it's going to do for Las Vegas. I mean, they love having sports there. They're obviously, we see the Raiders and the Golden Knights, what they've been able to do out there, and I think they feel like having a major league team in here as well is going to be great for that area to have a major league baseball team there, where it's going to attract even more people to the city. That, I mean, we were there on a Tuesday in July, and there's a bunch of people in Las Vegas already, so it's not like they're hurting for tourism. But right now it's kind of an their off season, their version of off season out there, and you look around, football's not going on, NBA's over, NHL's over, there is WNBA going on, but I think that's a real opportunity for Major League Baseball to come in and kind of fill that sports void that's in there right now, and have games going on. Obviously right now games are going on every day, so it would be an opportunity for people to come and watch a game, whether it's A's fans or people from the other side going in and being able to watch their favorite team here. I think it's an opportunity that I think is going to generate obviously a lot of business out there.
It was crazy coming back to the event, coming back to the MGM, and the line of people trying to check in looked like a Disneyland line, like they were trying to get into Space Mountain. Like I couldn't believe it. And the pool was just slammed. It's like, yeah, they call this their slow season, but it is so interesting that in our lifetime, we were always told you'll never have professional sports in Las Vegas. The gambling aspect of these leagues will never do it. Now these leagues are all about it. And to not only think about how the Athletics are going to be in Las Vegas, we know the NBA is going to go there. This was something we heard yesterday from a lot of the power brokers, is that they're very proud, and man, they want to be known as the sports mecca.
Yeah, no question. They take everything very seriously out there. It's not just, look, we have a sports team out there. They're very serious about this. And, talking to, you talked to Bill Hornbuckle, I talked to him about it as well. I mean, they've developed so many relationships already with MLB, going back with the sports betting once that was legalized. And I checked into my hotel at the MGM and I look at my app and I see the MLB logo there. So, these people are have already long lasting relationships with all these organizations, whether it's NFL, whether it's, NBA at some point will be there, NHL. It's a major league town. It's a major league town. We've seen that kind of over the past decade, how the sports tourism has, grown so much. I mean, people come into town for whatever, to come watch a big event here in Vegas. It just feels like there's more of a aura around anything that's going on out here, whether it's the Super Bowl, whether it's the draft. People want to be here for those types of events because, it's more than just coming into town for a day. You get to go experience a show or do whatever you want in the area. There's no shortage of things to do. So, it just feels like it's the right time for a major league team to go into there as well.
All right. With all the craziness going on, what would it mean to have Jacob Wilson voted into the All-Star game as a starting shortstop of the American League?
I mean, I think he definitely deserves it. Anybody who's watched, we've all watched him every day, obviously on a daily basis. We feel like he deserves it, but I think to see kind of everyone else around the country voting for him, I think it's been a pleasant surprise. And I think it just kind of shows that what he's done out here kind of translates, he might be playing for the A's, might be playing in West Sacramento. Not a lot of people get to watch him, but people are seeing what he's doing. I mean, you look at the numbers alone. I mean, they speak for themselves. When you got a guy that's competing with Aaron Judge for the batting title, I mean, that kind of speaks volumes for the types of year that he's having. And he's just so fun to watch, a young player. And it's kind of like, he's one of those faces of the next generation of the game. He's one of the guys that the kids who are playing Little League right now or coming up watching baseball, they love watching this guy play. He's so fun. And I mean, you look at him, he looks like a normal kid out there, not a giant like an Aaron Judge. And it just kind of, I think young people can relate to him a little bit more. So we're watching, a young star kind of blossom in front of our eyes, and it's been really cool to see. And I think he is going to get in there. He increased his lead on Bobby Witt from the last time the voting ballot update came out, and it seems like he's, holding steady at shortstop. And I mean, we all know the A's haven't had a starting shortstop since Bert Campaneris in '74. They haven't had a starting player fan elected since Donaldson in 2014. But I think Jacob Wilson has as good of a chance of any player we've seen in quite some time in the green and gold representing the A's as a starter.
And the first round of voting ends on Thursday. Is that correct?
Correct. Yeah. Thursday morning. Yep.
So fans need to get out and vote. And it's crazy to think, because years ago, rookies, I don't know how many rookies, I don't have it offhand, how many rookies have ever been voted in as a first-time All-Star. But things have changed with how people view the game with MLB Network now. We can watch all the highlights because we all have the MLB app, and we set it to our favorite teams. The way information gets to people now, the way we know more about everybody's, like you got whatever the prospect is, the number 2 guy Burns in last year's draft is making his debut for the Reds tonight against the Yankees. We know more about just not our own prospects, but we know more about everybody else's prospects. It's just crazy to think that rookies can get voted into the All-Star game. Paul Skeens started the All-Star game last year. Just talk about if Jacob Wilson is voted in, as the team is playing in Sacramento and with everything that's going on, just how special that truly would be.
No question. Like you said, it's changed a lot. I mean, obviously I think we've seen prospects come a lot more at the forefront of things. The MLB draft obviously takes place with the combination of the All-Star week now. So a lot of more eyeballs are on that. We're seeing, the futures game as well. So many things to kind of highlight the game's, next generation of players. And I think that's great. I mean, we need to be, celebrating these young guys who are, kind of the next generation. They like to have fun. These guys are having fun on the field. The A's are kind of the prime example of that. They got so many young guys, whether it's Lawrence Butler, Jacob Wilson. We see Nick Kurtz up here now, Mason Miller. I mean, so much young talent, Tyler Soderstrom, that's on this team and performing well. And they're going to be in this league for a very long time. And so I think it's important that, those young players get recognized. Not, back in the day, it was more like, these guys got to put in their work. They got to play a few years and then they can make an All-Star game or something. But nah, that's changed. If you're good and you're a fun player to watch, why not put them in the All-Star game? Why not, have the guys who like to have fun put on a show for you in the game where guys are supposed to go out there and have a good time. I don't think just because they're, a rookie in the league, they need to kind of take a step back and wait their turn. If they're good enough to get in there, why not get them in there?
All right, it's June 24th. We got a long way to go. Is there a possibility? Because we know right now, we are just in Vegas, the front runner is Jacob Wilson. If you're betting on these things, the front runner to win AL Rookie of the Year, and he's a big-time favorite right now, is Jacob Wilson. Could Nick Kurtz push him for that award?
I think absolutely. I was talking about that last week before Kurtz hit those 2 walk-offs in 4 days.
Before he hit him.
Yeah, before he hit him. I was like, you know what? The A's could have the number 1 and number 2 Rookie of the Year votes on this team. And what he did after that only kind of enhanced my stance on that. I mean, the guy's such an elite hitter. And, he missed time, obviously, on the IL, and he came back. And it's like, he didn't miss a beat. It's like he got even better almost when he came back from the IL. It seemed like he was, studying the game a little bit from a different perspective. He only got 1 rehab game. He comes back, and all of a sudden, he's just crushing every ball that's left over the plate. And, this guy's we all know the talent that he has. That's why he came up before, not even a year after he was drafted, right? Last year around this time, he was getting ready for the draft. Now he's hitting home runs off Josh Hader. He's getting hits off Framber Valdez. He's hitting walk-off bombs. He's so fun to watch, but it's more than just the power. He's just an elite hitter. And when you add that with the power, when you look at the numbers at the end of the year, I mean, he very well could lead all rookies in home runs. He's probably going to lead them in slugging percentage, OPS. I mean, I think he's at that point right now. I think him and Wilson are 1 and 2 in OPS, I believe. And obviously those are the main numbers that people kind of look at the back of the baseball card and stuff like that. But I wouldn't be surprised at all if Nick Kurtz can catch Jacob Wilson. Jacob Wilson's obviously having an incredible year. And right now, he's no question the Rookie of the Year. It's not even close. And Nick Kurtz still has a lot of work to do. He doesn't have it right now. But if he keeps going the way we think he can go, I wouldn't be surprised if he can overtake Jacob Wilson. Or, maybe they could do has there ever been a co-Rookie of the Year? I mean, maybe they do that this year. I mean, they're both really good. So I think they have a shot for that. But, they're going to be in that mix at the end for sure. I wouldn't be surprised if they finish 1 and 2 in some order.
Well, I appreciate the time because I said when we need to track you down, I knew you weren't going to Detroit. And I'm like, he might be still at his cabana at the pool at the MGM. The fact that you're not at the pool in Las Vegas, you've blurred your background, so you could be there. We just don't know it. I appreciate the time, buddy. It was great to see you yesterday, and we'll talk to you soon.
All right, Towny, sounds good. Good seeing you.
Martín Gallegos from MLB.com. Rollie Fingers was also there yesterday. As you know, we've talked to Rollie a lot here on A's Cast Live. He's truly one of the special guys, not only for our organization, but in the history of baseball. I mean, Rollie Fingers is one of the greatest pitchers to have ever lived. I mean, 3-time World Series champion, Baseball Hall of Famer, Cy Young, MVP. I mean, Rollie's the man. And the fact that still going strong, he lives down in Las Vegas. When do you want me to throw to this, Commander? When would you like?
As soon as possible.
As soon as possible.
Because we're done.
So we had Rollie up in Sacramento, and we got to see Rollie yesterday. But whenever you have Rollie Fingers, folks, he's in the Brewers Hall of Fame. Of course, he's in the A's Hall of Fame. He's in the Baseball Hall of Fame. He is just a treasure, and it is always an honor to have the great Rollie Fingers on A's Cast Live. Well, now joining us here on A's Cast Live, it is always a pleasure because he's truly one of the greatest of all time. Just not one of the great A's of all time. He's one of the greatest to ever play this game. Our good friend Rollie Fingers. How are you?
Doing great. Thank you. Nice to be here.
I always love to go over just the resume real quick because it's unbelievable. 3-time World Series champion, AL MVP, AL Cy Young Award winner, World Series MVP, 7-time All-Star, 4-time Rollades Relief Man of the Year, 3-time MLB saves leader. He's in the A's Hall of Fame. He's in the Brewers Hall of Fame. Of course, he's in the Baseball Hall of Fame. That doesn't get old hearing that, does it?
No, it doesn't get old. It wears me out just listening to it. I actually did all that stuff.
Well, you just think about some of these things that you did that we've talked about over the years. It's just always so special. I know coming up here is a great time. It's Cooperstown. It's the celebration. Ichiro's going in this year. It's going to be a great year there for the Hall of Famers. Are you going to be able to go back this year?
Oh, yeah. I've been back every year since I got in, except for the one year because of COVID. But I've been back every year. So I enjoy going back, just trying to see the guys get through their speech. That's the hardest speech to get through, is that Hall of Fame speech. But,
oh, no doubt. And I love how the last couple of years they put you on MLB Network. I love watching all that stuff. And over the years, it has changed. But what is it like over the years for when you first got in and you're in those dinners and when you're with those guys to where it is now?
Oh, golly, when I first got in, you walk in there and it's like watching black and white TV all over again. When I grew up as a kid, Willie Mays and all the old guys, Whitey Ford, Yogi Berra. And the first year you get in, you don't really say a whole lot. You just kind of sit back and watch and listen. So then the second or third year, you pop off a little bit at some guys, but it's getting on the new guys when they come in. So we'll be doing that when we get there.
Was that weird feeling like a rookie? After everything you accomplished, you're like a rookie again.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's a who's who when you walk into that dinner. And just to see the guys that, you watched when you were a kid on television, Koufax, and he was my idol growing up. And now I'm sitting there having dinner with him. It's kind of weird. But it's fun to go back every year, and I enjoy doing it.
Yeah, I've been back in 1999 and got to see a lot of it. And it's just, you have these teams that you played on that meant so much to you. Obviously, the teams that you won 3 World Series with. I know you had some great times in Milwaukee, you had some great times in San Diego. You have your team. But this is a whole different team. When you're in the Baseball Hall of Fame, what's it like being a member of that team?
Oh, that team was great. When I first came up in '69, I came up at the end of the season in '68, and I was there for 8 years. And for 8 years, we never finished less than second place. We had great ball players, and then we had 5 straight division title years. And the 3 World Championship years, we may not be in Oakland, but you can never take those memories away.
Well, I've been thinking about that because, I also worked for the Raiders for years, and you always talked about, well, that was in LA. And I think that's where we will get to, because obviously the great tradition from Philadelphia and the Hall of Famers there. I know it was a long, long time ago, but such, the championships and all the great players. And we'll talk about, how a lot of you guys came up in Kansas City, and a lot of guys came to Kansas City, right? And then came to Oakland. They'll have this brief moment in Sacramento, and then it's going to be in Los Angeles. But franchises have moved before, and that's kind of how you got to do it.
Yeah, well, the A's, like you said, they've been to 3 other cities, and it seems like I think that's the only organization that's really jumped around a whole lot like that. And but it's going to be a new thing in Las Vegas. I'm sure I know the city's looking forward to it.
Yeah, you're going to be there with us on Monday, aren't you?
I'll be down there with a shovel, I think. I don't know.
You're going to have one of the gold shovels?
One of the gold shovels, maybe.
How long have you lived in Vegas?
I've been there 25 years. So I've seen a lot of hotels blown up and leveled and rebuilt. So it's been fun living there. I enjoy it. It's not really real populated to where you have a lot of freeway congestion. So it's nice. I live in a gated community, a retirement area. And I play a little bit of golf when I'm feeling good, so it's fun living there.
You've seen a lot of changes in 25 years, especially on the strip.
Oh yeah. Well, my first American Legion, my American Legion team in Southern California, we went to Las Vegas in 1963, and that's when they only had like 7 hotels there, and they were a mile apart between each other. So it's really changed since back then.
So today you're going to be here at the ballpark in West Sacramento. You're going to talk to season ticket holders. They're going to talk a lot about, obviously, the teams that you played on. I know it's unfortunate you've lost a lot of the guys that you played with. They were like your brothers. We've talked about this young group with the A's right now. When you start talking about Jacob Wilson and Lawrence Butler and Nick Kurtz and Tyler Soderstrom and Max Muncy and on, I've been talking about this young group kind of like how you guys – where you came up as young men, and it's more than just baseball. It's more than just playing games and being on planes and hotels and buses.
Well,
like, you all start to get married, you start to have kids. Like, it's truly a family. So they're just at the beginning of this journey. Talk about what that was like back in the day with your guys, your core.
That's basically what it was like when I signed. The nucleus of our ball club, Reggie Jackson, Sal Bando, Gene Tennis, Joe Rudy, Catfish, Campaneris, we all signed right around the same time, and we all came up through the minor leagues together. And we all hit the big leagues right at the same time, 68, 69. And we played a couple years together, and we had a good time doing it. We had some great talent. Charlie Finley signed some great ball players. And everything just came together in 1971 when Vita Blue came up, the Cy Young year he had that year. And we won over 100 ball games that year. And he was the Cy Young Award winner, MVP. And when that season is really when we started to click. And then 72, 3, 4, and 5, we still had the same guys there. When we lost Catfish in 75, that kind of hurt our starting staff a little bit. And Boston swept us in the playoffs that year. But we still had a good ball club. I think if we could have all stayed together, if Charlie would have just signed us, we could have done that 2 or 3 or 4 more years in a row.
Yeah, I just think about the closeness, and our buddy Ray Fosse would always talk about, when he came over from Cleveland and to see how tight he now understood why you guys won so much, because there was, like we're developing here with these guys, there's that really tight bond that becoming young men and growing up together in the game. It's you can't break that.
Well, no, you can. And these guys are going to play. They're going to play together now. They might just be starting right now, but if they get a couple of years under their belt, playing together and picking up their skills and doing better. They're going to be a better team. So I think it's going to be a good thing here.
And I've always loved the stories because, yes, it's not all about baseball. I mean, the stories like you and Ken Holtzman would look for bridge games on the road together. And you'd walk in, hear these guys are All-Stars World Series champions. Obviously, the bridge players were a lot older than you guys, and you were going in to take their lunch money.
Well, that's the first thing we do. We land in a city in New York. We pick up the newspaper. Where's this bridge tournament? We go in there. All the gray-haired old ladies are in there, and here's 2 guys with dark hair, and we're beating the heck out of all of them. They're calling directors over. These guys are cheating, and we weren't cheating. We were just doing what we were doing.
Oh, the story. Was it you, or did you pick Reggie up, or in the minor leagues, or was Reggie picking you up every day?
I was going to pick him up, and I went right by him on the corner, and I went down 1 block of the car, ran a red light, and rolled me over on the freeway with me and my other roommate on the freeway, and we ended up going to the hospital. And Reggie went to the ballpark, and he's yelling, "Where's Fingers at? He forgot to pick me up." And he went right by my car with a cab, and I was on his roof. He didn't even recognize it.
I mean, the stories from the minor leagues to the big leagues, I mean, they don't get old. These are incredible.
No, they don't. You can remember some of them, but I had some good times in the minors. I was 4 years in the minor leagues, but we didn't make any money, but we all had a good time.
Well, thank God you didn't start anymore, that you went to the bullpen and you grew the mustache, because it changed everything.
It helped. I don't know if it was a lucky charm or what, but the only reason why I grew this thing was to get $300 out of Charlie Finley, and that was it. And that was in spring training of '72. And we started winning. And Charlie told everybody on the ball club that if you have a mustache on opening day and you make the ball club, you get $300. Charlie came down to the clubhouse with 30 checks. $300, gave it to everybody. 25 players, 4 coaches, and a manager.
That's the best $300 you ever made.
That was a week's salary.
What it did for you, right? You had obviously the career, but the mustache was your deal.
Well, you grow a mustache. And I just grew a handlebar just to be different. And you win the World Series in '72 when we grew it. And then you win '73. You can't shave it off. There's 3 straight world champions. So I've had it ever since 1972. So whatever, 54 years I've had it and never had it off.
Have you ever thought about cutting it?
One time, when in 1974, I came into a ball game, a doubleheader in Baltimore. I came in and faced Frank Robinson, first batter, bang, first pitch, home run. Lost the ball game. Came in the second game, same situation, runner on base, Brooks Robinson up. First pitch, hit the foul pole, home run. I had 2 losses on 2 pitches on the same day. And I had the razor right there. And I said, I better not do it. That's the closest I've come to it.
Was your hand shaking?
I'm not sure. I looked at my face and I said, I can't do this.
Now, one of the great stories and one of the highlights of my career was a couple of years ago down at Fantasy Camp. You and I got to do about 45 minutes in front of the campers.
Oh,
just where you were telling stories. It was unbelievable. It's where we first got you were going to throw at Willie Mays if he didn't sign the autograph for you.
My first autograph.
We got all those great stories in. But the little girl who you scared because she thought you were Captain Hook at the airport, has that happened ever again?
No, never happened again, but that was a crazy one. I was in line at the gate, and this little girl's about, I don't know, she's 7, maybe 8 years old, something like that, and she's standing in front of me, and she turned around and looked up at me, and I kind of looked at her and smiled, and she turned around. And she did this a couple of times, and then the third time she just turned around and she kicked me right in the shins. He says, "Why were you so mean to Peter Pan?" And I started, whoa. Parents are, what's going on? I didn't do anything. Your daughter just thinks I'm Captain Hook.
Well, I got to tell you, on this show, we say it all the time that I can make a case that you're the greatest reliever to have ever lived. The numbers say it, the volume. It's a career that I wish we had more guys like you in today's baseball. Unfortunately, we don't, but it's the reason why you have a plaque in Cooperstown, because you're truly one of the greatest. It is always an honor to have you on the program. It truly is. And we'll see you Monday in Las Vegas.
All right. Looking forward to the shovel.
The Hall of Famer, Rollie Fingers, right here on A's Cast Live.
The A's YouTube page is your go-to destination for A's video content. Get access to great highlights, exclusive behind-the-scenes content, classic games, A's Cast Live, and more. Visit youtube.com/athletics.
This has been a presentation of The Athletics.